2024 is going to be the year of the blog. And if you've been playing around with the idea of starting your dream blog in 2024, this is your sign to actually do it. I started my first blog back in 2017, and after a lot of failed blogs and a lot of failed attempts, I finally started my current blog in 2019 with the dream of one day going full-time and making money blogging. Which is probably just like you, because I was working a job that I hated and all I wanted to do was run a creative business on my own so that I could one day be a stay-at-home mom to my future kids. And I also wanted the time freedom and the flexibility to do whatever it was that I wanted and when. I dreamed of having the ability to scale my income as much as I wanted and take off any day that I wanted. I didn't want to put in days off requests anymore just to have them denied or be forced to work another holiday ever again. So if that sounds like the dream life for you, then you are in the right place. Now, the first thing that you want to do if you want to start your dream blog in 2024 is you have to choose a profitable niche. And if you don't know what a niche is, it's basically just the topic that your blog is going to be about. And there are a ton of ways that you can make money, so you're not really limited in the amount of niches that you can choose. But when you are choosing, you want to ask yourself these three questions. Why do you want to start a blog in the first place? Who do you want to help with your blog? And what topics will you write about? Answering these three main questions is going to help you narrow down what blog niche is going to be right for you. Now, the first question, why do you want to start a blog in the first place, is important because it's not only going to help you figure out what you are passionate about, but it can also help you understand why you're even going through all this in the first place. Because starting a blog is not easy. It's not going to be quick. I'm not here to sell you a get-rich-quick scheme. It's going to take a lot of time. It took a lot of time for me. And some people can definitely do this quicker than I did, but it's going to be tough to do this. So you have to be passionate about whatever it is that you're doing. You have to have some reason behind why you're starting a blog. I had a lot of reasons. Like I said in the beginning, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom to my future kids. I wanted to be able to raise my income as much as I wanted, take days off when I wanted, be around family. Like, there's a lot of reasons that I have for why I started a blog. And I always end up going back to those when times get tough and it's a struggle to keep going, or you're just simply not motivated. One day you can go back to your reasons and figure out, this is why I want to start this blog, and they can hopefully motivate you to continue going when it feels like you want to quit. And your why is going to be similar to the reasons that I listed, but I would write them all down, get everything out, and really figure out what exactly is it that you want to do when you start this blog. Like, why do you actually want to do it? And then also, like, why do you want to teach the thing that you're thinking about teaching? Or why do you actually want to talk about the topic that you want to talk about? And then you want to ask yourself, who do you want to help with your blog? And your why can kind of talk about both things, who you are helping and what your passion is. Because for me, I want to help women start and run their dream blogs. I want to help women or people take back the life that they love. I want to help people take back their time from the 9-to-5 life that they don't like and be able to live out their wildest dreams while making passive income from their blogs. So that is what I teach. That is what I do. That is why I'm doing this. I'm doing this to help women start and run their blogs. And figuring out who you want to help is going to be crucial for your success because your entire strategy is going to be around helping this person. Your entire blogging strategy is centered around a specific person, then their wants and their needs and their desires. Now, you may be wondering, aren't you starting this blog because you want to? Aren't you doing this for yourself? And technically, yes, you're starting a blog because you want to, but chances are the real reason you're starting the blog to make money is because you have knowledge that you want to share with someone. You have someone that you want to help do something and you're ready to share that gift with the world. So while this is technically for you to make money, the main focus should be on who you help. And it's going to determine everything that you do. It's going to determine the blog posts that you write, the questions that you answer, the social media posts that you create, how your blog looks, and especially the products that you create and sell. Because the way that you are going to make money and gain followers is by connecting with people who are just like you and want to buy the products that you are releasing or selling or recommending. Because the products that you sell are going to help your target audience solve a problem that they have, which is why they are buying them in the first place. So make sure you keep your audience top of mind during this whole process. And the last question is, what topics will you write about? Now, when you answer the other two, this one kind of might fall into the same place, but we want to come back to focusing on what you want and when it comes to the topic of the niche that you are going to choose. And there are a few things you need to consider before choosing a niche, like passion, profit, and proficiency. It's important to find your passion because this part is going to be for you because you're going to be doing all of the work writing. So what are you passionate about? Because you're going to be spending a lot of time writing, researching, teaching, and talking about these topics. So this has to be for you and something that you are specifically interested in. Otherwise, you may end up quitting, switching, getting bored, and stopping. And it also has to be something that you are proficient at, something that you are good at doing. You might love cooking, but if you burn the noodles every single time that you cook them, you're probably not going to be good at teaching people how to cook. So you have to have the right skills in this topic in order to teach someone else how to do it, which seems pretty self-explanatory, right? But there's also some nuance here, because if you love talking about personal finance and you're great with money, that might be a good niche to get into. But you might feel like you're not good enough to talk about that because maybe you have some credit card debt. But the good news here is you don't need to be a complete expert in your niche in order to start. You might hear people say you should be the expert in your niche. And to me, that doesn't mean you get paid to do what you do. You have a job in what you do. You have credentials surrounding your niche. You went to school for it and have a degree. That's not necessarily what that means. Of course, ideally, you want to be the expert, right? You want to be the best in your niche, but you don't necessarily have to be. Like I said, if you have credit card debt and you love talking about personal finance, it doesn't really matter. Like, people might still look at you as an authority in that niche because you're good at investing or you're good at saving and you're good at paying off debt, because people are going to resonate with the fact that you have credit card debt and you're trying to pay it off. That is a pretty universal experience, I would say, pretty much across the board. So it's okay that you're like not 100% perfect in everything that you do. The only thing that you want to worry about is that you are one step ahead of the audience in terms of whatever it is you're talking about. So for me, starting a blog, I have started a blog many times at this point, and I know what I'm doing when it comes to this, but I don't know how to make $100,000 blogging because I've never done it. I don't know how to do sponsored deals or brand deals because I've never done it. So I don't teach on those topics. So you do not need to know every single thing about your niche before you start. I'm not an expert in blogging. I half the time have no idea what I'm doing, but there are certain pieces that I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm not really great at ranking on Google, so I don't talk about SEO, but I am good at starting a blog. I am good at Pinterest. I am relatively good at YouTube, I think, at this point. So I get to talk about those things because I'm passionate about it, because I'm interested in it, and because I get to make money doing that thing. So if you can find something in your interest that matches all three of those requirements, that is the niche that you should choose. Just remember that no one is asking you or expecting you to be perfect in your niche before you start. So if that's something that you're worried about, don't. You can always continue to learn and grow as you go and only teach about what you know. And then the last thing, of course, you have to worry about is making money. Whether we like it or not, the world revolves around money, so we are gonna need to make it. There's no shame in trying to make money doing this, because if you want to do this as a job, you have to make money in order to be able to do it. But like I said, there are a ton of different ways to make money blogging, so you're not really limited in the niches that you choose here, but I would do either a little bit of research in the niche that you are thinking of and seeing how other bloggers are making money, because like I said, there are a ton of ways. Or if you want to check out the ways that I make money, I will link the ebook that I wrote down below in the description about how to make money blogging, even if you have a small audience, because there are 4 main ways that I make money, which is ads, affiliate marketing, client work, and products. So if you want to check out the ways that I make money, I will leave a link to my ebook down below in the description. Now, one question you may have when you are thinking about choosing a niche is, what if you are stuck between more than one topic? And if you've gotten to this point and you are stuck between 2 topics, the good news is you might not need to choose. Many people start a lifestyle blog. I have one where I talk about a bunch of different topics myself, and you can talk about more than one topic at a time. But the only thing that you need to worry about is if your audience is going to be interested in both. Because again, we need to keep our audience top of mind during this whole process. So if you are looking to talk about women who just got a divorce, for example, that opens you up to potentially talking about a lot if you're interested in a bunch of different topics, as long as it is with that specific woman in mind. You could talk about fashion and building up a wardrobe that you feel confident and sexy in after divorce. You could give dating tips, travel advice for a newly single woman, maybe van life for one. You could give mental health tips, self-care tips, confidence boosters, whatever it is that you're interested in that you can think about with the idea of this woman in divorce. Maybe you just went through a divorce and you want to help other women do the same, and that's what you want to write blog topics on or have an entire blog centered around. As long as it is with your target audience in mind and it's not too completely disconnected from each other, just keep it on the same blog. Because a lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to start multiple blogs to have all these ideas. You really want to keep it simple in the beginning. And I mean, I think it's personally a good idea to keep your business simple always, but you don't want to start 2 different blogs, multiple different things, a YouTube channel and a blog all at once when you just start, because you're going to get overwhelmed and chances are you're going to stop because you're not going to know where to start and you might find yourself getting stuck. So just keep it on the same blog. But I recommend if you are going to be doing a bunch of topics, start with 1 to 2 that are really, really closely related, because you want to get people onto your blog. You want to get them reading multiple things, coming back for more, signing up for your email list, buying your products, doing whatever. And if you have 2 topics that are super disconnected from each other on the same blog, they're going to read one post, maybe look for more, and then if you don't have any more, they're just going to leave. So I would start with 1 to 2 topics that are super closely related, preferably 1, but if you have to, start with 2, and then write a bunch of posts on both of those topics, and then you can branch out as you go. But for the first part of it, just stay narrow, stay simple, and keep everything neatly organized in different categories with different topics and like your navigation bar so that people can easily see what you're writing about, and it'll be okay. Now that you got the niche picked out, we can get down to the creation of the blog. And there are a lot of options, but if you ask me, there's only one way to start a blog, and that is with a self-hosted WordPress site. And the first step to get a self-hosted WordPress site is to buy hosting. You're going to need to find a hosting company to host your blog on the internet. And the place that I get my hosting from is SiteGround, so that's what I'm going to recommend to you as well. I'll leave a link to them down below in the description. And you want to make sure that you get the startup WordPress hosting plan. It's the very first one. It's the cheapest one. It's the one that I still have because it's all you're really going to need to start a blog. And you're also going to need a domain name, which SiteGround will prompt you to add it during the checkout process. And you also need an SSL certificate. Now, this is just a thing that's going to tell your visitors that your site is safe to be on, and it will make them feel more comfortable staying. Because if you don't have an SSL certificate, Google will tell the visitor sometimes that this site is not secure, and they might leave and not want to stay because they won't feel comfortable staying on a site that isn't safe. Now, you probably have no idea what any of those things mean. All you need to worry about is WordPress, startup hosting, a domain name, and an SSL certificate. So you're going to basically go onto SiteGround, you're going to look for the WordPress hosting and sign up for the startup hosting. And it asks you for a domain name, which is going to be the name of your blog. And then you want to choose the SSL certificate as an add-on, and then everything else can wait. They're going to ask you if you want a CDN and a bunch of other words that you probably don't understand what they mean. To be honest, I don't understand a lot of them. All you need is those couple things, and then you can start a blog. WordPress itself is the software that you are going to be using to start your blog, and that is going to be free. It's a one-click install, and you can go to the admin or the back end part of your site where all of your blog posts are going to go and stuff like that. When you see the admin side of your blog, I recommend that you bookmark that so that you don't lose it, and you can always get back into it. If you do lose it, just log into SiteGround and you can get to your WordPress admin from there, but I like to have mine bookmarked for easy access. Circling back to the domain name though, you got to choose a catchy name for your blog. Because if you don't know what a domain name is, it's just the .com of your site, and that needs to be the same as your blog name. So you're going to want to come up with a catchy blog name that you'll love, because that is also going to be your domain name. It's likely going to be your email. It's going to be your social media handles, and it's going to be how people see and interact with your blog online. So you want to make sure that you like it. And now, don't worry too hard about this, because in the future, if you decide to change, you can. I actually changed my blog name. It used to be called Business Women Thrive, but I changed my entire business to Sarah Marie. So it's possible to change, not recommended, but you can. It wasn't too difficult to change. And a good way to come up with a blog name is to start writing down words that you associate with your blog. So ways that you could describe your blog, things that are going to be talking about as topics on your blog. You can use your name potentially, and just come up with a list of words that you associate with your blog. If you run out of ideas, you can also look up other words associated with the words that you've already chosen, so you can get a big list if you don't like what you've already got. And then just start mashing those together and seeing what works, what do I like, what sounds good. Or you could always use a blog name generator, so you can take that list and shove that into a blog name generator and see what it spits out, or just take a couple words, see what it spits out, and just try to think of a good blog name from there. Good tips though, when you are choosing a blog name, is keeping it easy to spell, easy to remember, and relevant to your blog niche. You also want to keep it short. I would keep weird hyphens or profanity or anything else like that out of your blog name, and keep it short, sweet, simple, something easy to remember. Mine is sarahmarie.blog. Pretty simple to remember, so try to keep it also relevant, because if you have the word travel in your blog about cooking, your readers are going to get confused, Google's going to get confused. Keep it relevant, short, sweet, simple, and then use that as your domain name when you sign up for SiteGround. And the last thing that's important is to make sure that no one else has anything like it. When you go to SiteGround and you type in your name, it will let you know if someone else has chosen that, so you might have to choose a different one. So it's really important that you don't get super attached to your blog name until you have it paid for and you know that that's actually going to be your domain name, because otherwise you might get attached to a name that somebody else already has. The next thing you're going to want to do is pick out a theme for your blog. Now, when you get started with SiteGround, it's going to ask you to pick a free theme to get started, and you can stay with one of those free themes if you want, but you get what you pay for, which is nothing, and free is rarely ever the best. So I recommend that you take a look at either Creative Market or Etsy and get a theme from there. They're relatively cheap. You can get a theme for around $50 and it's going to look more professional. There are thousands of beautiful themes to choose from. I've got all of mine from either Etsy or Creative Market. Creative Market's really where I've been leaning to a little bit more lately, but just search through, see if you find some themes that you like. There are some expensive ones, so definitely you might get some sticker shock, but you don't need those. All of my themes have been under $50. And you want to pay attention to the look of the theme and make sure you check out the live previews of each, because on Creative Market, I'm pretty sure every single theme has a live preview, so you can click around and see what that theme's actually going to look like. And it's not going to look exactly how you have it, because there's like usually 2 different home pages and there's multiple different options for how some of the pages are going to look. So they'll have all 3 options there and you can see which ones you like. And then when you buy the theme, you'll get instructions and it'll tell you how to install it step by step exactly as it is. And you can like choose which option you like better. And you just want to make sure that it's easy to navigate and you like the layout, because all of this can technically be changed. Like you can completely redesign your entire blog once you get a theme, but in the beginning, keep it simple. I would keep it pretty much as is unless you really want to like dive in deep. All themes can be customized by the color and the font and a ton of different customization options, but I typically choose a theme that already has colors that I would like to use as my blog and just kind of go with what's there in the beginning. But once you get a little bit more tech savvy, you can change the colors. And now that I'm more advanced, I bought and downloaded my own fonts. But like I said, that can all come later when you're more tech savvy, if you want to. You honestly never need to buy fonts. That's never a requirement. You never really need to change the colors. You could just slap that bad boy up there as is, and that would be fine. I just chose to do that because I've been doing this for a long time. But don't feel stressed because you don't have to do that. You could literally just leave it as is. That's totally fine. And then you can start writing blog posts. Go back into the admin side of your blog, add a new post, and just start writing. And there is a lot that goes into writing a good blog post that people are going to read. SEO keyword research, finding topics your audience will love, making sure it's got good pictures and graphics, and there's a lot that can go into starting and writing a blog post. But in the beginning, I would just start writing posts. I wouldn't worry about anything, and I would just start getting into a groove, start finding your own style. Blog posts can always be edited. I'm currently still going through all of my old blog posts and editing them, so just start putting posts out there. I would do a little bit of research about how to write a good blog post, but I wouldn't dive too deep into it in the beginning and just start writing posts. Now, I'm going to be having some videos here on the channel about how to write good blog posts. I already have some, probably somewhere in the hundreds of videos that I've done at this point, and I'm definitely going to be doing more. So I would do maybe a little bit of research, just make sure you're doing things a little bit correctly, see some of the best practices, but just start writing posts if that seems too overwhelming for you. It's okay. You can always go back and edit. I am, 5 years into this at this point, and I'm still editing old blog posts. So just start writing. And then, of course, you have the most fun part, which is how to make money blogging. And the good news is, like I said, there are tons of ways to make money blogging. But the bad news is you may get overwhelmed by all of the options. So here's the ways that I suggest you start making money blogging, which is what I've already mentioned: ads, affiliate marketing, your own products, and client work. Those are the 4 ways I make money. I talk about them in the ebook that I've linked down below. And check that out if you want to get all the details and all of the juicy gossip on how I make money. But ads are the first place that I recommend that you start because they're super easy to set up and they're totally passive. You're already driving traffic to your blog anyway, so when someone sees the ad, you get paid for it. Now, it's good to know you will not be making a lot of money with this if you do not have a good ad network, because there are options, or a lot of page views in the beginning. So this is going to be chump change. This is going to be something that you set it and forget it. I recommend that you start with either Google AdSense or Ezoic. I started on Google AdSense, but I eventually moved to Ezoic because I hear they are a little bit better. They have different tiers for, depending on how many page views you have, the more money that you make. So I recommend starting with Ezoic or Google AdSense if you want. And then when you get more page views, you can either level up with Ezoic or you can find Mediavine or a bunch of other ones, AdThrive, and get more money for your ads. And affiliate marketing, if you don't know, is where you recommend a product, and if someone buys it, you get a small commission for it. Now, this does not cost the buyer extra, so it is a win-win situation. You recommend a product you love, they get a great product, you get a commission for it, it doesn't cost them extra. And of course, there's always the option to create and sell your own products, like I have with the Money Making ebook. And there are a ton of different places and different ways that you can sell products, and you can make pretty much an unlimited amount of money that you can scale to because there's always more products that you can be making. And the last and best way personally for me to make money is with client work. I am a Pinterest manager. I'm doing blog coaching and Pinterest coaching as well. Couple other random services here and there throughout the years. And this has been by far always my biggest income source, and it is a great way to start making some money. But I hope this was helpful, and if you want to learn more in this series of how to start a blog in 2024, check out this video right here. Make sure to like if you like, subscribe to my channel down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.